with us this afternoon. My name's Brent, and I've got Romeo on camera, and I've got a fly on my forehead according to Romeo. And then Scott and VM are on the other vehicle, and Nix is in final control. For those of you who weren't with us this morning, the Kunyuma was found with a diker kill. I'm sure Scott's going to go and check on that a little bit later. And there was also the one Matimba male. We tracked him quite a bit after the drive this morning, and he changed his direction completely and started heading south, even though he was heading north. So we're going to go see where we've lost the last tracks at about 9:30, and see if we can find him. Other than that, for those of you who are new to Safari Live, we are literally live from Ginger Private Game Reserve in South Africa. By a few seconds of streaming or buffering or whatever the technical people call it. I'm not a technical person, I just look for animals. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go see what we can find. Afternoon, Orbs. I think there's 3 stations around Kunyuma, and I'm heading down Twin Dams to try to follow up on that Matimba and Kwatile from this morning. Last tracks at 9:30 we came back south, and last tracks we had were in the Mvula at the junction with Vulture's Nest. So the last tracks of that male line we had were just down here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to check, because it's been a couple of hours. So we actually went to a rangers meeting today for the whole northern Sabi Sands, and we got some quite interesting information to why that line suddenly changed direction. He was going north, heading straight for Bovelshoek, and it suddenly changed around. And I know those who were with Scott this morning would have heard him vocalizing. So he was roaring, but apparently 2 of the Styx lionesses were heading this direction and roaring as well. So it's possible he turned around and made his way towards the 2 Styx lionesses. So what we're hoping is maybe they converge somewhere on Djuma. So we're going to be checking for tracks along Twin Dams, and then on Gowrie Main to up around Weaver's Nest Treehouse. Here we go. As you guys can see, there's a little dwarf mongoose. There's a couple of them around, and they've got some yellow-billed hornbills with them as well. So he's just watching us carefully there. quite often you'll find a few different bird species will follow the dwarf mongoose around. And what they do is the insects that are flushed by the mongooses as they move through the grass, the birds will take advantage of that and catch them. He's coming out into the open. They are very, very, very cute little things. Itchy leg. Amazing little animals. Oh, he might pop up. He's walking up along the log there. Very, very sweet. Yeah, I can hear others around. For those of you who are wondering what that little clicking is, it's just my camera. There we go. And there's a third one on its way. Fourth. Little. So let's see who's awake and ready for a question. So, what is the original collective noun for mongoose? What is the original collective noun for mongoose? And you can send your answers to questions@wildearth.tv or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. You can see very social animals, so grooming is very, very important in terms of affirming bonds between them. And I nearly said what that collective noun was there. I had to stop myself. There we go. There's a perfect example in the back. You just saw that hornbill drop in of a mongoose disturbing a grasshopper or another insect, and the hornbill pouncing and taking the opportunity. Which also works in the mongoose's favor, as the birds do act as an extra lookout for predators for them. Oh, that was a nice little start. They are definitely one of my favorite smaller animals we see here out on drive. So information we got from the other ranges is quite useful as to figure out where and why that male lion turned around. So it gives us a nice direction to start looking in already. Things and having a good line of communication is beneficial to all. that is horizontal. Negative. Negative. Correct. So that information we got from the other rangers said that those two Styx lionesses were in the next door property, pretty much opposite Weaver's Nest, calling. So I'm guessing he might have cut through the block here. That's why we're going to check up towards Weaver's Nest Road. I just wanted to make sure he hadn't come straight back south down Twin Dams, and there are no tracks there. Definitely have a quick look at that, because I don't think we're going to see them for too much longer, and they've stopped calling, and I'm not even going to bother asking you guys what it is, because I know I'll be told the question's too easy. But for the new viewers out there, that's a woodlands kingfisher. We're only probably going to see them around for the next couple of weeks before they move off, before we get cold and they head up to Central Africa for our winter. Apparently there's a lot of questions about the Kunyuma pride, who we do know killed a giraffe this morning in Buffalo's Hook. Unfortunately, we are not able, that is outside of our Travis area, but it is good for them. But from our point of view, it means they're probably not going to be moving this side for quite a while, because they'll probably be on that carcass for well over a week, 4, 5 days, 6 days. They're going to be feeding off that giraffe. I'm not sure whether it was a male giraffe or a female giraffe, but I don't think they're going to be moving too much from that position. As far as I know, there's also one of the Matimba coalition there, and then there's also, quite interestingly, from the last update I heard, 3 members of the Torchwood Pride also on that. What that means is that's possible that the Torchwood Pride and then Kunyuma Pride somewhere in the past, I'm not sure of their history so much, where one of them is a split of the other at some point. So the fact that they're tolerating the 3 lionesses from the Torchwood Pride on that carcass. And trust me guys, if we were allowed to go there, we would have already been there this afternoon. I would have been there in a flash. Go ahead. And so a lot of you guys said band of mongoose. Unfortunately that wasn't correct. 6 of you got it right. Helen, Diane, Chris, Vicky, Doris, and RC, you guys all got it right. It is a business of mongoose. Is the original sort of colonial collective noun for mongoose. A business. So we're at Treehouse Dam, and there's some buffalo bulls here, and which means we are going to be covered in flies quite shortly. If we get a close-up on the boss of either of them,
left, right.
right's better. You can see the colour on his boss there. That's from rubbing up with the reddish colour there, probably against guarri and tambuti trees. There's a couple of theories on why they do that. It is possible that it makes them look a little bit more impressive and scary to predators and other buffalo. Also, I think they just like a good scratch. And if you have a close-up on this guy's face here, please, you actually see that it looks like his skin is moving with the amount of flies, and his face has the least amount of flies that he has on his body.
Okay.
There's also, a nice kudu bull. Let me just move forward. Kudu bull looks like he's moving down towards the water, possibly. No, he just popped out. Disappear there. So we don't have any lion tracks here yet, but there have been quite a lot of vehicles on all the roads today. It is possible they have been driven over, or we've missed them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just triple check. I'm going to go up to Shibam Road and then onto Gowrie Main, and then I'm going to go very, very slowly down Gowrie Main to make sure that there are no tracks crossing out of Kunyuma. And if that's the case, then we will go back to the last tracks of that male line and start again. Even though it is a few hours, we are a few hours behind. We all know how lazy lions can be, so hopefully the goals weren't too enticing and he ran out of steam somewhere during the day and decided to have a snooze en route. Good afternoon, Tina. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Tina would like to know, I'm presuming once the kingfishers leave, when is the next time they'll be back? And it'll probably be November, probably I don't know, I guess, between the 10th and the 20th of November this year is when the next time the woodlands will be back. It'll be between the 10th and the 20th. There's quite a lot of bets that goes on the exact date they arrive, and I think that also varies through different areas. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to go a little bit quickly for a second to try lose some of our friends we picked up at the buffaloes. And it did not work, of course. Wondering whether it's worth giving the wild sage another go. We did try it. It wasn't that effective, unfortunately. Well spotted, Romeo. Let's just go around. Romeo spotted some elephants off to the right. Let's just have a look where the best place to view them is. Romeo's favorite animal. Oh, some little ones there as well. Oh, there's some more to the left. Love, Junction Shabam, and Treehouse. A cheeky little youngster, trying to be impressive. Copy. So how many can I see? There's one. Let's just go to this guy on the left here. Okay. So you can see it's just a little bit further away from the sort of main nucleus of the herd. Maybe I can even talk about him. And so it's a teenage bull. He's been pushed slightly to the edge. At that sort of age, they are quite often pushed completely out of the breeding herds. So they tend to have too much testosterone and start causing lots of problems, chasing, things around, making lots of noise, and that at a stage, the adult cows in the group will just say enough's enough and then chase them off.
Head.
Nice relaxed herd, far more concerned with feeding them with us. Go left. Sounds perfect. So guys, we're just gonna cross over to Scott quickly so he can wish you a good afternoon. We're gonna stay right here with the Ellies and see what they get up to. So we will catch up with you a bit later. So over to Scott.
Good afternoon everyone, and welcome on board with myself, VM and Steph. So, as you can see, this leopard we're looking at is fast asleep, and you can very vaguely see that his belly is also quite full, and that's because he's been feeding on a baboon until probably late last night. And then in the early hours of this morning, probably around 6:15, he managed to catch himself a duiker, which is a small antelope. He didn't feed on it at all this morning. Oh, they do have pests, and it appears like possibly a flea that bothered him there. So at least we got a little bit of action out of him. There was a vehicle that came out on drive early this afternoon, and they did see him feeding on the duiker, and he's just come down from the tree. Nobody else could maneuver their vehicles into this position, so we've just found him here. And because we know he has fed very recently, I'm thinking that we're probably going to come back here a little bit later, maybe at around 6:30 this evening, and hope that at that stage he decides to feed again. But for us to spend the whole afternoon here, I think we would be missing out on other opportunities to show you so many other different and interesting animals that are out here. So we will probably give it another 10 or 15 minutes just to make sure he doesn't change his mind or reposition to a better view. But if he doesn't change, then we're going to move out and go and look for something else. There's more leopard, another lion that we think has headed back into our property. He was very close to our border this morning, and had good fun tracking him after our last visual that we had with him this morning. So there is also a large male lion floating around that we can help look for, and so much else. So just to give you a quick update on Kunyuma, this young male leopard. But as you would have seen here, the vegetation here is very thick, and this is the best possible view we have of him at the moment. So folks, I think it's time to head back to Brenton, the elephant sighting, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Welcome back. We're still with the Ellies. They're slowly moving and feeding. Phil coming. Scott is the station that is with that Ingwe. Good afternoon, Dan from Texas. Dan would like to know how much nutrients can an elephant get from this dry grass. Well, let me try to find it. It depends on the species of grass, Dan, but they will still be able to get quite a lot of nutrients from the grass. It might look dry and dead to us, but if I don't know if you can use that too close for you.
Which one?
This tall one here. It's the easiest to see. And I need to be halfway down it, more or less. See there. So Diane, if you can see, even though the tops where the seeds and stuff are still quite dry, the middle and bottom part is still greenish, so there is still sap and some nutrients in. And they will take advantage of the grass while they can. And as it dries up, then they will start relying more heavily on browse. Although it is noticeable they are eating more trees and bushes than they were, say, 3 months ago, because there is some grass that is completely dry already. I'm just going to move around, do a nice big circle around them. You never really want to drive at an animal, you always want to drive across the face of them, because driving at animals can make them feel quite threatened. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look at some tracks here. Leopard tracks, but they're quite old. Yeah.
I prefer Kunyuma.
No one there. I think you can go for it. I think Aubrey was going to check.
What do they browse predominantly in this area?
They browse lots of different things, quite a few of the acacia species, as well as the buffalo thorn, the younger Dicrostachys. And as the browse choice gets limited, they will eat bush willow and terminalia, but not by first choice. So I'm sitting there ruminating, so I don't want to disturb him, so I'm going to find another route to get back towards those ellies. Is that from you? We got a question from Nikki in FC. Is it normal for him to be lying down? Quite often during the heat of the day and in the afternoon, once they've fed a lot, most of your ruminants are quite happy to lie down, rest, and chew the cud. So what they'll do is they will bring food back up from their stomach and re-chew it to make sure they get the most amount of nutrients out of it possible. And that's why when you look at dung, which maybe we can do a little bit later once we finish the eddies, I can find you a hindgut fermenter's dung, or a non-ruminant's dung, and then show you a ruminant's dung as well. You can see the difference. These ellies are starting to move into a bit of a thicker area, and there's no real reason to follow them. We could just start disturbing them if we keep following them. You can already see one or two of the younger females were starting to show a little bit of signs of being a little bit, not annoyed, but sort of not 100% happy with us. And we had such a nice sighting when they're out in the open and they walk very close to us. So there's no need to put undue stress on the animals. So I'm going to leave them be and carry on and see what else we can find. Starting with poo. We okay there? Leaving that Cumberland Global slowly mobile west from the junction of Shibam Road and Treehouse. Okay, so negative Scott, what I did is after that information from the Rangers meeting about those my fuzzies calling this side, I just decided to come around, check Treehouse, up to Shibam, and I'm just going down Gari Main very, very slowly to see if I find any tracks either coming in or going out. Copy, thanks. So this is the nice thing about having two vehicles. We can work as a team. We're checking now that to make sure that they haven't crossed the Styx lionesses might have crossed in, or that Matimba might have crossed out, and Scott's going to go back to the last tracks and start there and work back towards us. So essentially that does make it much easier for us to find animals, because we cut the time in half. So if we had to check all of this, then still go back to the last tracks and start again, it would take a lot longer. But these access roads, because they're used by deliveries and transfer vehicles and stuff, can be quite difficult to see tracks on, because a lot of the people utilizing them aren't looking for tracks. The clouds have come in early this afternoon, but they are quite high. Oh, did I stop? Turn off the engine too early. Come. Over there, thump.
Get out of the push.
There we go. Njani, avukile mfo.
www.wildsafari.com.
Yes, that is us. WildEarth.tv. How's everyone doing?
www.wildsafari.com.
Yes, that's on the National Geographic site, or www.wildearth.tv. WildEarth.
WildEarth.
Yeah.
And you see this elephant. Yeah. See, a driver sitting there. An elephant was like.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Did you?
Was you? Serious?
Yeah, it was him. He was the cameraman there. Did you book any Ngalan Konzum for?
There are two Mafasis here.
Good.
So the two my daughters went on this side.
One Matimba's in Buffelshoek, and the other one, last tracks we have was in the Murati.
And we need them.
Yeah, that's why I'm going steady, because now the other Galaf, Bambad and Pyramid, they're not going to be coming for a long time. And Torchwood, they're sharing the.
How many of the Torchwood?
The three big Mafazis and all them Komas and one Matimba.
Serious?
All that side. Kayamanzi. Good luck.
Have a good luck. Yeah.
Okay. Romeo, can you see it? Do you think the camera will reach?
Yeah, we can try.
Oh, it's going. There's an elephant miles down the road. And he's gone.
That alone. Oh.
difficult to say from this distance. I mean, he was a good kilometer from us. So I heard this two Styx lionesses are still in Little Gowrie this side, opposite Weaver's Nest Road, which is coming up now. So I'm just going to update Scott. Good afternoon, Stella from Michigan. Stella says she's never seen oxpeckers on elephants. Do oxpeckers only like to feed on animals with fur? Stella, I have seen oxpeckers on elephants, but it is quite unusual. They don't only like to feed on animals with fur, because they do feed on rhino and hippopotamus quite regularly. Not that. I think the most thing is that elephants are very mobile, which makes it quite difficult for the oxpeckers, because they're always on the move, and when they feed, there's quite a lot of movement. So it makes it more difficult for the oxpeckers to feed. Scott, do you copy? Just a report from one of the Chitwa vehicles. Those two Styx lionesses are still on Little Gowrie about, I think he said about 500-600 meters in Little Gowrie, opposite the Weaver's Nest junction. I've still got no tracks coming out. I'm at Weaver's Nest now. Scott. Update from Chitwa vehicle. Those two Styx Mafazis are still in Little Gowrie, about 500 meters from Gowrie Main. Just past Weaver's Nest, there's still no tracks of that Madoda crossing. Bad news, guys. Bad news. I'm going to move so you can see what I'm looking at. Show you what I'm looking at now. Can you get it from there? Romeo. I'll show you now.
Oh, it's a giant footprint is.
Yes, the giant line footprint crossing the road. It's a good place to start. There's the other one there. So I don't know if you guys can see here. I was hoping you'd growl at me, and then at least we'd have a quick view of them. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear me from there. How's it? Good. You can see here is the male line print. Even though it's on the edge of the road like this, and the edges have been blown over by dust and that, it's definitely from today. And he's crossed our southern boundary. Unfortunately, he's gone looking for ladies. Can't blame him about that. Scott coming. Scott. Copy. When you see him back on the vehicle, ask him to call me. Oh, sorry. Wrong radio. When you see him back on the vehicle, please ask him to call me. Afternoon. Matimba just crossed here. The Nkonzo, sometime during the day. Cheers, enjoy it. Stations, Nkonzo of that Mvula and Kwatile has crossed south, just to the west of Twin Dams junction with Gary Main. I'm going to be leaving the area. Copy noise. As soon as they're back on the vehicle, just let me know so I can tell them, or you can tell them that it's crossed. I feel like some drainage line in my life. Maybe I haven't seen Quarantine for a while. Maybe he's arrived. Come visiting from next door. I haven't driven Mamba Road since we've been back, so what we'll do is we'll head up to Mawati for a while, see if we can find new tracks, maybe head up towards Mamba Road, and then maybe slowly work our way towards Buffelshoek Dam. Good afternoon, Betty. Welcome on Drive with us. Betty would like to know how cold it has to get to get rid of the flies. Or throughout the year there will be some flies, but during the colder months, there are just a lot less of them. Oh, he's jumping around there. Just sorry. Not sitting. There's a Birchall's cuckoo, but it's not being very. Scott, do you copy?
Let it go.
Is he gone?
Can't see him.
He's disappeared into the back there, unfortunately. Scott. Scott, Tyler. Nkonzo that my daughter has crossed about 50 to 60 meters to the west of Twin Dams Junction with Gary Main. I'm in the Mvula now. I'm just stand by. I think I've got some Mvula and Kwatile. But 2 stations already checked the insight's not active. My plan was to head up Mvula to Mamba and then slowly make my way towards Buffelshoek. Maybe try catch that breeding herd that was heading in that direction. Nope. Old tracks. Old tracks. Go ahead. Scott, do you copy? Just on 2 stations to check the again, it's not active. I'm gonna probably head towards Buffelshoek down, try to get there before there's a breeding herd and heading in that general direction. I'm in the Mvula, but I'll take Mamba Road up towards Cheetah Cut Line, or actually up towards Drakensberger. I think it's an open lock.
Stop. Can I get this one?
Oh, hello. Little nonsense.
Hey guys, can you reverse?
Reverse.
Yeah.
Charlie, good afternoon. Welcome on Drive. Charlie would like to know, even though, more?
A little bit more.
Tomorrow is Easter Sunday, will there still be Drive? Charlie, definitely not. We're going to be gorging ourselves on Easter eggs and we'll just be in a chocolate stupor.
Can you reverse a bit more, please?
No, I'm joking. Of course there will be Drives tomorrow, as normal.
Well, look on screen. Yes. You've got control, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be better from the other side of him.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn the vehicle around so we can get a good view of that little vervet monkey.
Get those back there.
Oh, moving now. Move slow. So it looks like what they're doing, so that's probably, I think, the best we're going to be able to get is there. So what it looks like the monkey's doing is it's chewing on this acacia onto, it looks like it's chewing gum. Nice camera work, Romeo. So quite a few different primate species will utilize gum from different species of trees. Bush babies also. And they'll have certain spots that they chew on quite regularly. It's difficult to see, but it does look like she is after bits of gum that are coming out of the tree. There's a couple of them doing it. There's some others higher up above her, but we can't really see them. You can just see sort of shadows of them through there. Oh, here comes Jump. Oh, nice, Romeo. Another nice animal to spend time with because they are quite busy. Whoops. How's that? Jump and catch upside down. Whoops, broken branch. Oh, there's another one coming. They're coming down the middle of the trunk, little guy, tiny ones, coming to getting a little bit inquisitive, coming to have a look at us. So, all of them are moving down the tree. Look at the little one. Chop, chop, chop. Running between the, the different trees to where they feel safe again. Don't want to spend too much time on the ground if they can help it without a tree close by. Oh, that was fun. Hey guys, we're going to cross over to Scott, see how he's doing and what he's got. And we'll catch up with you guys again a little bit later.
Good afternoon and welcome back on board. So it's a pity about the male lion's tracks crossing out, but well done to Brent for finding those tracks, because had he have not found those tracks, we would have been following the tracks from behind, taking a long time, and we would have only eventually found that he crossed. So Brent's plan to loop ahead and check the direction that he was heading in was a great example of clever tracking, because he worked from the front backwards, which can often be the most effective way of finding animals. It takes a very long time to find each individual footprints and maintain and monitor where it moves. So well done to Brent for that. And now that the lion's gone and the leopard's still sleeping, we have decided to head off to something a little bit different. We found a nest, a bird's nest. It was about 3 days ago, I think, that we saw the nest for the first time. And it's a very interesting bird's nest because they nest on the ground with just a mere, very shallow scrape. There's no nesting material, and the eggs are very cryptically camouflaged. Now, 3 or 4 days ago when we were last there were 3 eggs in the nest. However, last night, as we drove past, while Brent was enjoying the incredible sighting view, Kunyuma and the hyena, we stopped and looked at the nest and realized 2 of the eggs were missing. Now, we're not sure if they've been eaten. We've debated, saying, well, if something had come and eaten two, why didn't it eat the third? So possibly they've hatched, possibly they've been eaten, but we're going to go back there and try and establish what's going on. So we're not very close. We're probably about 10-15 minutes away at a slow speed, but that's not a problem because we could bump into anything along the way. And here is our first actor for the drive. And this is a very common bird, and the problem with common animals is that sometimes we overlook them. Because they are numerous, we don't take them, we kind of take them for granted. This is called a, well, I'm going to leave this one up to you. So if you guys think you know which little bird this is, you can send your answers through to Nikki and then she'll relay it to me. It's a seed eater, so quite a good time of year for it because a lot of the seeds from the grass are beginning to fall off as they dry, and that's what it's busy feeding on. A clue to help you identify this bird is that it lets off one of many famous African bird calls, but it's certainly a bird call associated with Africa and one that you long for if you've been out of the country for a long time. So its call is very distinctive. That's affirmative. Its call does have a rhyme, but many do. So Nikki's just asked from the final control whether its call has a rhyme, and Nikki would like me to sing the rhyme, but I'm not going to sing the rhyme until I've got a few answers because that will make it too easy. And something to share with you that may be new to the Safari Live experience is it's important to realize that there are big gaps on drives for where you may not see mammals or high profile game that everyone does hope to see, and in those quieter times it's important to be able to stop and take in other animals and scenery and trees. So it seems like this is a good opportunity where there's not too much else going on, that we can stop and enjoy the other animals and flora that occur in this area. The first is preferable, but so just give me the first three that get that, and yeah, I'll just correct the others very slightly. Now, there's been a jackal, a side striped jackal that we've noticed on this clearing, but we've only been seeing him after dark, or her. We're not sure if it's a male or a female. We're just going to slow down here and scan carefully to see if we can't see it. It may have become resident here. They do change their territories, and it's a newcomer. We haven't seen it on these clearings very much, and just in the last week or so we've been noticing it. reason why I've decided to head out to this bird's nest. It's not just to follow up on that, but it's also because the rest of the property is quite busy now, and there doesn't seem to be anybody searching in this area. So I figured it may pay dividends to head into an area where nobody's looking in the hope that we may find something. Just the first three that come in, and then put it over another. So it sounds like everybody got the answer to the question. So well done to a lot of you, but Nikki's just going to let me know the first three. Well done to Raisa and Ray and Gail, who were the first three on email. And on Twitter, Margaret, Rosie and Rita. Well done to all of you. And the correct answer was a Cape Turtle Dove. Quite a few of you said Cape Dove, which is kind of half a mark, so the official name is the Cape Turtle Dove. And what I'll do is the next time I hear one of them calling, I'll stop and let you hear their call. But there's two different rhymes, or many I guess, but one of them is work harder, and the other is drink lager, drink lager. So depending on your preferences or the time of day, there's two different rhymes that are applicable. And who knows, maybe even tonight we'll hear them calling. Sometimes when it is full moon, the birds continue to call late into the night, and it really is magical being out in an area like this, because the moon is so bright with so little pollution in the area. You can see clear enough to drive without any headlights. So this evening may not be the case though, because it's overcast, so a pity, but that may clear up. So evidently I need to find a trickier bird for you to identify, and I'll be searching for that. The tough thing with birds is that we often stop and try and show them to you, but they fly off. But from time to time we get lucky, and over the weeks and months we have been able to get up close and tight on quite a few of the pretty birds in this area. So just to keep you updated on my plans for after what we are doing here, I'm hoping to head back to Kunyuma. Possibly Brent could head back there depending on who's closer, but one of us will certainly aim to get there at around 6:30 and bunker down and hope that he gets active again, because sadly where he was lying when we last saw him, it was not the best visual. So as you can see, we've got some impala up ahead of us. And they're going to become a star of the show over the next couple of weeks, especially the males. Now, even if we watch these two closely, you can see they are showing the telltale signs of the rutting excitement. And it was 3 days ago that for the first time I've heard impala rutting this season. They make a loud gurgling roar that is the most bizarre sound you would certainly not expect to come from an impala. Anyway, I did hear some rutting the other day. It wasn't full blown and it was obviously the first of the season, but in the next few weeks they will in all likelihood get the rutting season into full swing, and there will be lots of fighting between males, fighting for open clearings like the one that they're in now. And what you find is that the males will compete for prime territories, small patches of land, not very big, just kind of like the area that we're in now, a couple of 100 meters by a couple of 100 meters, and within this patch of prime real estate, the ladies will come for safety purposes, for feeding purposes, and the male who dominates that patch will then have access to all the ladies. Now, it obviously provides, it is going to provide us with some great action of these males fighting one another and chasing one another, letting off this gurgling roar as they do it. But it's also going to potentially provide us with some great predator sightings. What you'll find is the predators learn and are aware that these males who are charged with testosterone, and they only have one thing on their mind, and that is ladies. And due to their lack of focus of other things around them and just fighting with one another, the males, they can often be unaware of predators approaching them, and leopard and lion who hear this gurgling roar, which can be heard from kilometers away, will head straight in that direction as soon as they hear the impala are fighting, and that way know that there's a potential lucky meal there, or easy meal, because the impala are focused too much on themselves and not their surroundings. So it is a time of year that a lot of impala will lose their lives, especially, well, a lot of male impalas will lose their lives, and we'll notice that that's probably the main animal that will get killed over the next month or so. I was hoping those two males came head to head and kind of thought about showing us a little bit of action, but one was considerably smaller than the other and would have been brave to take it on. You may have also heard a go away bird calling out in the distance. Quang! And that is why they have their name, the go away bird. It sounds like they're saying, go away! Very useful bird in helping us to find predators, as when predators walk past, they often let off that call. So he just called for us while we're sitting here. Wonderful. Well, judging from the way its crest is lopsided, you can tell that the wind is blowing from right to left. You can also get a great idea of exactly what its call sounds like and what it looks like. Now, in all likelihood at the moment, it is actually telling us to go away. So I don't think there's a predator in the area. Beg your pardon, I am wrong. Steph has just whispered in my ear that there's some dwarf mongoose on the road. So it wasn't bothered with us, and it's a great example of how, if you do take note of the animals that alarm call, they can lead you to interesting sightings. Now, this is a carnivore and one of the smallest in Africa, so sometimes they may lead us to the biggest, to the lion, and others to the smallest. So that's what can make life a little bit tricky when following animals that alarm call. It could be something as small as these dwarf mongoose, or a little snake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if we can get a little bit closer to the dwarf mongoose, because they really are awesome little creatures, especially if they allow you some time to view them. And sometimes they are relaxed. So let's see what this little band of mongoose has to offer for us. The things I'm looking to... Oh, still a head poking out. Very inquisitive, but cautious at the same time, not taking any chances. It appears that they've already synchronized their plan. One is looking to the back and one is looking to the front. Now, it won't just be the two of them. There could be up to 10 or 20, depending, and the sizes of the bands of mongoose will vary between different areas and different individual families, and often the makeup would be one dominant male and female, and the rest of the clan that will just help out. They are so awesome. Now, even though they're carnivores, being this small, you've got to be very cautious. Oh! It backed out of its original plan and ran back to the safety of this small hole. Now, what may be happening here is that they may not realize that they are being alarm called at, and they may think that the go-away bird is alarming at another predator, like a bird of prey, that could be a threat to them. So, it could well be that they are panicking about alarm calls that are directed at them, and they are incredibly quick. Let's see if the second one follows suit. Have you got it there, Vim? Well done. Vim has miraculously managed to somehow keep an eye on this little critter. And it looks to be foraging now. They eat insects, small and small mammals, as well as snakes. Like most carnivores, they've got a wide diet. But judging by their size, they understandably would typically focus on smaller prey items. Now, if we look across the road, we can see a lot of the female impala, as well as a few young males, but it's predominantly the ladies. And they are going to be creating a lot of excitement, as I said, for the males that were already detached from them. And with some animals like impala, the males will only compete for the females aggressively for kind of a month or so every year. In between that, you may find males that stay with herds of females, but it must be purely for ego, because it certainly doesn't provide anything else other than extra eyes and ears and protection. So you'll typically find the male are all friends for kind of 11 months of the year, and they all stick together in bachelor herds typically. But then for 1 month during the rutting season roughly, they will then start fighting with one another. So interesting dynamics, how animals have got different processes of mating and spending time together. Other antelope will potentially compete for their ladies throughout the year and have a harem of females that they care for and fight for. Okay, so just a few more minutes and we will be at the bird's nest. So, stand by. And just to recap, for those of you who have just joined, there's a bird called a crowned lapwing that nests on the ground. Last time we saw their nest, there were 3 eggs in it. That was about 3 or 4 days ago. And when we drove past last night, there was only 1 egg remaining. So we're not sure what's happened to the other eggs. Maybe they've hatched, maybe they've been eaten by something. We're just going to go back and have a look if the final egg is still there, or possibly if there's any chicks floating around. Some tracks on the road there, but I think they are hyena tracks. I'm just going to double check that quickly. Yep. Bless you. Okay, so we have arrived. Now the tricky part is actually finding the nest. It's so well camouflaged. Well, it's not really a nest, it's just the egg that's very well camouflaged. There's not much with regards to the actual nest itself. There it is. So have you got it there, Bjorn?
We lost it now.
Yeah, okay, there it is. You just go straight in.
Okay, got it.
So, would you believe it? That little pile of stones with the very cryptically camouflaged egg is a bird's nest. Now, what we don't understand is that there were 3 eggs here initially, and now there's only 1. So we're not sure if the others were eaten or have hatched. Now, if they've hatched, we're asking ourselves, well, why aren't there any remains of the egg there? Therefore, maybe something just came past and ate 2 of them and only had space for 2, but you'd think, unless it was a snake that predominantly feeds only on eggs, an egg eater, maybe that would have been 2 would have been sufficient for itself. and it may not have needed to feed on anymore. Or it could be that this egg simply hasn't hatched, and the other two did, and now the adults have moved off with those two chicks. Because right now, there's no sign of the adults, and usually if we were parked this close to the vehicle, they would come and start shouting at us. So, I have just seen one of the adults though, and I'm going to take a close look with my binoculars from a distance and try and establish if the tiny little chicks are not close to it. Now, okay.
Right now behind it. 1 meter.
Oh, nice.
Looks like a brain.
Is that not a sandgrass?
Yeah, it might be. Something.
So that's a blacksmith lapwing that you can see, but VM, if you pan to the left and then zoom in, oh no, tiny bit, sorry, to the right, and then, are you on full zoom? Are you on full zoom? Okay. Well, there is a bird sitting there in the grass. You can just see a little kind of darker brown blob in the center of the shot, just off to the right. And that's a double-banded sandgrass, a very pretty bird that I'd like to take you to have a closer look at. And we can also have a closer look at the crowned lapwing adults and see if those little chicks aren't with them. The chicks usually spend only a few hours in that nest before they move off, and they too, just like the egg, are incredibly well camouflaged and rely on just being able to sit down on the floor and not move and nothing can see them. So the two adult lapwing are currently sitting side by side with not a worry in the world, and it could be that they are sitting away from where the chicks are, if there are in fact two chicks. But I think it's safe to say that unless these are different to the owners of that nest, that they've abandoned that nest now and are no longer concerned about it, and therefore it may be that that egg simply hasn't hatched. Now, to see these little baby chicks would be 1 in a million, but certainly worth us having a look for, because they would be incredibly cute. Well, there's some great news, folks, and Brent has found something very interesting. So, without further delay, over to Brent.
Welcome back, guys. I can't pretend to understand what's just happened, but we've just found looks like one of the Matimba males, and he's just appeared out of nowhere at Buffelshoek Dam, even though we had his tracks crossing miles from here. And the other one, I don't know if he's been seen. I'll find out when I get a chance to speak to the game drive stations. It is. He's got the scar. Andrew, have you called this in yet? Copy. One Madodangala at Buffelshoek Dam, busy mobile north on the eastern side of the dam. 2 stations here. So he's been doing the roundabouts, but there's one thing you should never try: predict too much of an animal. That can always surprise you. Looks like he's calling. Just he's chosen a much better road. If he'd gone to the left, thanks, next by pure fluke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a spot where we can possibly get around the front of him just now. Oh, see if he... Now we can just hope he roars directly at us. So, I don't think he knows about the giraffe carcass yet. Otherwise he'd definitely be on his way there. So after that call, he's going to listen for a little bit, see if he has anything else calling, one of the other lines. This Madodangala is now stationary on Hippo Pools Dam, Hippo Pools Road, very close to the junction with Buffelshoek East, lying in the road. It's very difficult to explain what he must have done this morning. He must have zigzagged, gone back, and those tracks we found earlier were definitely of a male lion crossing south, but which we presumed was him, but obviously wasn't. If we stay with him for a while, I'm quite confident he might roar again. Sorry, next is listening to the Game Drive channel go again.
How big are his paws? Alice in Ohio.
Oh, Alice, the problem with trying to show you the exact size of his paws is that I probably use my hand, and everyone's got different sized hands, so it makes it quite difficult. I'm trying to find something that's something that's a fixed size. Yeah, possibly the best. What number? Oh, quickly. Alison, I will get back to your question. I just think he might roar quite shortly, so we're just gonna sit and listen for a little bit. Oh, he's playing with us. He's listening quite intently, hoping to hear a response from his coalition mate. There's a herd of elephants arriving behind him. And there's also a Chambrian drove arriving at Buffelshoek Dam. Rodongala is now mobile, east on Hippo Pools. He looks quite hungry, like he could do with some giraffe in his life. Good evening, Pat from Massachusetts. Pat would like to know about this lion's health. She doesn't know whether he looks well or not. I'd say he's a little bit hungry, but he's in pretty good condition. He's not showing any major limps with that. He did have an injury on his paw, but it doesn't seem to hamper him too much. I mean, he's a little bit hungry, but for a lion of his age, he's in very, very good condition. Certainly better fed than the last time I saw him. You could actually see his hip bones. Really, they were really protruding. But that happens with lions from time to time, and it's not the biggest train smash for them. Good evening, Millie from the USA. Millie would like to know, do I think lions recognize each other's roars? 100%. They most definitely do. I've actually, when I was involved in filming another project with some captive bred lions, we did tests to see the reactions to lions that they knew to unknown lions, and the reaction to unknown lions was instant and aggressive. So most definitely they can recognize each other's roars and different lions' roars, and their behavior will be completely different to a male lion that's a coalition mate as to another male lion that's possibly moving into their territory. I'm going to try to shoot around. Watch the... Sorry, next I didn't get that last one. Good evening, Terry from upstate New York. Terry would like to know how far we are from the other lions. Wait, we're just going to keep quiet. Wow, wasn't that amazing, guys? Let's see. I'm going to be able to leapfrog him again. Oh, I'm not going to be able to this time. Good, try that. I'm going to keep watching for another spot where we can try to get in front of him. Well, sometimes you can do all the tracking in the world and all you need is a little bit of luck. And that's exactly what happened to us this afternoon. We tried to track this morning, day before, and today not particularly looking for anything, going to look for some nice birds and maybe some elephants, and he just appears. Oh, is that running there? Oh, little Steenbok. I don't think he's too much danger from the lion. just going to zoom around. Just give me a sec. Next. Let me know when you need light. No light? Light.
Yeah, no light for now.
So we're quite lucky. This big elephant path that he's walking down, I've actually tracked the Mvula down. So that's why I knew where there's a little shortcut to get ahead of him. Watch out on your side there for the thorns. Romeo? Can I go?
Yeah, just go.
So this little thorn tree right in front of me is going to peer from behind that shortly onto that elephant path and onto the next road. I'll put I'm just going to reverse a bit ahead of him. Close to the end. Can I go? Which road is he going to go down? I thought I was going to be able to sneak in front of him. But he was too fast for me. He unfortunately is approaching our eastern boundary, and if I do find a gap, I will try get in front of him again. He doesn't seem to know the giraffe's over there, not over there. Doesn't seem like his coalition mate is being very responsive and letting him know where the free meal is. Stations of Mvula and Kwatile is now very close to Kwatile junction with Equipools. Unfortunately, the supply is not quite a real spot. Three times. FM. Okay, our boundary is actually within sight now. I'm hoping I can just sneak ahead of him for one last. Or he might go and turn north on the boundary. We'll see shortly. Unfortunately, that road up ahead is our eastern boundary. It'll be quite interesting to see which way he goes now. If he continues east or he goes south or north, but it looks like he's going straight east. This Mvula and Kwatile is crossing east. I think it's called Pipeline Road in Torchwood. Come on, farewell roll. Oh, he's lying down. Well, then we're just going to sit right here. So, in relation to where he's sitting, he's facing probably a little bit southeast, and the giraffe carcass from him is probably almost due north, or northeast from him. So basically where he's looking at the moment, that is the direction of the giraffe carcass. Animals lying up 20 meters into Torchwood, off the pipeline, shooter, cut line junction. What is the visual out of 5? And just ask Scott if he thinks he's going to do something interesting. If that's the case, we must cut to Scott. Copy, no problem. Okay guys, we're going to cross over to Scott. We're going to stand by here in case something happens and he changes his mind and changes direction, hopefully. Till then we're going to cross over to Scott to see what Scotty's got. So enjoy.
Welcome back, and we're in luck. Kunyuma has moved, and as you can see, is now lying up in a far better position than when we saw him earlier. And I believe he has just been up the kill feeding, up the tree feeding on the kill there, and now has come down. So our timing has been a little bit off this afternoon. We missed his initial feeding at around 3 p.m. when there was another vehicle here, and it appears we've just missed his 6 o'clock feeding. Now, they don't feed every 3 hours necessarily, but that has been the case this afternoon roughly. It therefore means that I think it will be some time before he continues to feed on the Styx, but we will certainly stay with him, as who knows what may arrive at this scene now. The fact that he has been feeding on it means that the smell of meat and blood will be permeating through the air, and any hyena or other predators, even lion and other leopard, may come to investigate and look for an easy meal. We can also hear some elephants rustling. We think it's elephants rustling in the bushes to our left. So that is the breakdown of the sighting, and he's lying up now in the riverbed. We can't really reposition the vehicle in any way. The riverbed is only wide enough for the vehicle, so we can't really move around. Now, what I can tell you folks is that I am very, very envious of all of you, because it sounds like you have had an incredible sighting with Brent. And for those of you who were on the morning safari with myself, we did manage to see that same male lion for a few minutes, and he did vocalize just once, but it doesn't sound like it was quite as good as the vocalizations that you've heard with Brent this evening. It does make a big difference if the animal's facing you in terms of the intensity and loudness of the roar. And I did mention this morning that if there was one thing that I could choose to be able to show people on safari in Africa, it would be that. It would be to hear a male lion calling. There's nothing quite like it. And so happy that Brent's got his turn this evening. We had our turn this morning. And also, huge congratulations to Brent on finding him. as you would have probably pieced together, we completely were wrong and misinterpreted the tracks that we did have of him. And again, you learn something every day out here, and we certainly learned something this afternoon with regards to the tracking. But very, very envious of all of you, and it was quite funny hearing Nikki's remarks from the final control. She was also very jealous of them, I guess, being let there at the moment. So, wonderful news for everyone, and our luck continues here at Juma. We've been very, very fortunate with some incredible game viewing. And it's not just seeing certain animals, it's the quality of the sighting that you're experiencing with them. And there's one thing seeing a male lion fast asleep, but having him pace down the road towards the vehicle whilst he's roaring, which is what I've been told has just happened with you and Brent, is incredibly great quality. Well, life is good for this leopard. He killed a baboon 2 days ago and fed on that until probably late last night. And when we found him this morning, he managed to catch this duiker. We didn't see the kill. We just heard the distress call of the duiker as the leopard obviously caught it, and that helped keep us in this area and helped us to find this leopard. If it wasn't for that duiker's distress call when it was caught, we probably would have moved away and left this area, as it's very thick and hard to get vehicles into, even if you do find the animal on foot. We had a quick peek up at the kill. We're not far from it, and we will show it to you shortly. Well, I guess now would be a good time, as he's lay up behind a bush there. We're just going to need to reverse ever so slightly, but that's fine because we can't see him from where we are now. So we may as well reverse a little bit and show you the kill, and then decide what to do next. See it from this side still. Oh, no. See if we can creep a little bit forward and see it, but I fear that from this angle we may not be able to see it exactly where he's sitting. We'd be able to get a view, but he's already got that spot. You might be able to get it in that small gap there. I'm not sure. Can you see it there? Okay, let me creep forward ever so slightly. Now, you can just see a tiny bit of the hoof and the jaw of the impala, as if it's the duiker rather, as if it's looking down. And I'd say he's fed on about a quarter of it so far, maybe a little bit more, so he certainly will be here in the morning, which is good prospects for us, and hopefully our timing will be a little bit better, and we'll get to see him up this tree. Okay, copy. Awesome. Copy, perfect. There's quite a few people asking whether Kunyuma would have heard the audio of that male lion calling where you were, and I'm fairly certain he would have been able to hear that audio. Their hearing is much better than ours. We couldn't hear it though, and to give an idea of how far a human can hear it from, it's around 5 miles. Now, that's the maximum distance that you would be able to hear them vocalizing from, and that is in perfect conditions. So this evening, in the fact that the terrain was quite undulating and there was a little bit of a breeze, we couldn't hear the audio from where we were, and we were probably around 3 miles away from it, but I think Kunyuma could well have heard that, and it's far too far away to be of any concern to him. He wouldn't be worried. And they do come across lion very often and avoid lion very often. And this same leopard that we are looking at now actually hung around and attempted to steal kills from that same male lion and that male lion's one coalition partner. The two of them managed to take down a buffalo a couple of months back. And Kunyuma obviously heard the commotion and stuck around, and we actually saw him with the hoof of a buffalo that he stole from the kill after the lions had moved off. We didn't actually see him stealing from the lion during the 2 days that they fed on the buffalo, but that's not to say he didn't manage to sneak in while they were there and steal from them. They are masters of being elusive and disappearing, and they know that, so they occasionally take chances even with male lions. An update from Brent. The lion has got up and moved off, so there's no longer any visual of it. And he is now headed off to look for something else. Who knows what? Now, is he going to prove us wrong? Is he going to go up the kill and feed up the tree and feed a little bit more on the kill? Quite possibly. Let's wait and see. It could be, on the other hand, that he's thinking of going for a drink at the dam. Now we need to decide what to do, because for us to get back up onto... We'll just wait a moment or two and see if he doesn't go up the tree. And either way, it'll be better for us to view him from that side if he does go up. So let's just go around. It's just quite tricky to get there from where we are here. So I don't want to go around there unnecessarily. Vehicles are incredible what they can do. And just as well, otherwise we wouldn't be able to get to a lot of the places we do need to get to be able to show you what goes on out here. Well, I'm hoping, like I say, that he's going to have got onto the road and started heading up towards the dam. We're only a few hundred meters away from it. And I'm guessing he's gone to quench his thirst. Which is wonderful prospects. Because that is another thing that I really love viewing, and it is leopards drinking, or any animals really drinking is good quality, be it elephants or impala or leopard. It's always great to watch. So I'm going to go with my gut feel, not spend too much time looking for him there, and with a bit of luck we're going to turn around this corner and see him walking down the road. Not this corner, maybe the next one. Okay folks, Brent's found something really interesting, so I hope you enjoy what he's got in store for you.
Okay, we're gonna go live.
We're going to go live shortly. Welcome back, guys. So we left that male lion, and Andrew kindly called us, and he found 2 leopards at Twin Dams. It's from what I'm hearing, it's Mvula and a female called Kwatile, and they have been mating in the property to the south of us. So there's a it's likely that they are mating, so we will stay with them. I heard from at the Rangers meeting today that they have been mating in the property to the south of us. So this is the first time I've seen the Kwatile female. You guys obviously probably have a better idea about where she's from and who she is, so could you let Nikki know a bit about her history so she can fill me in?
Thanks, Brent.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Cheers, guys. Have a great evening.
Come down there.
Okay. Perfect, huh? There you go. They're lying up on the wall, so we're gonna actually go move around underneath them. Let's just try and just in case she decides to do exactly what she's doing. So leopard females can be very flirty when they want to mate. They'll literally wipe their tail under the male's nose, and leopard females will move out of territory to mate. Okay, so we're just going to try and move around to a better position. We'll be with them in a sec. Hold on. It's going to be a bit bumpy, but it's the shortest route. Boom, 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 boom. Big hole. Thank you very much, Romeo. That could have seen me lose a cameraman if I'd hit that one. There's the male. Now where's the female? It's probably just below him. So hold on, guys. We're gonna go down this steep little bank. find a way in, which I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah. Below down water. FM. But if you've got a good visual there, no worries. Which is better, like that?
I like that, it's more romantic.
Okay, there we go. That's why he's called Romeo. So for those of you here clicking, it's just my camera. Go ahead, Lex. OFM, best visual is below the dam where I am, and there's plenty of space.
The lights on, open it. Lights on? Right. Put the lights on.
Right, they've decided to move now. Over here. I just need to try to find a way. Watch out. Holes for me from up high there, Romeo? Oh, jeepers. Maybe we should really disconnect those computers. Got too many buttons on these cars. Leave our lights off with the yellow lights, much nicer. Isn't that a beautiful shot? Oh, isn't that stunning, guys? We have been spoilt rotten tonight. Next coming. Sorry, wrong radio. Next coming. Do you have any information on this female, Kwatile, yet? Copy, thanks very much. So she's she's about to roll, or she's rolling or rubbing on, is that buffalo dung? Look like. So I'm not sure where she holds territory, but as far as I know, this is one of the core parts of Karula's territory. But female leopards will move out of territory to mate. She'll mate with all the male leopards that might possibly hold territory in her area, and she does this to try and make sure that all of them think that the cubs are theirs. And we can hear that male lion in the distance, the one we were watching a bit earlier. Okay, so next just stand by. Next just give me little bits, please. So her name is Kwatile, which means the angry one. She was born in July 2007. Okay, next carry on. She's the southern territorial female and the last remaining cub of Intima. She is now the southern neighbor of her mother. She apparently killed an adult male. Oh, just hang on, I'm going to talk about what she's doing now. So that's leopard flirting, pretty much. Growling. She's trying to entice Mvula into mating. he doesn't look very interested, which means they could have been mating for a few days. So quite often leopards will mate for 4 or 5 days, generally about every 15 minutes for those 4 or 5 days. And quite often it's the male that will end the mating and try and move away from the female. But if we hang around, we might see some action. They've asked me to put it on the male. So apparently she did have a young male cub, but it was killed. So this is probably why she's mating again now. And I'm just going to move this spotlight a little bit. Next. Unfortunately, that's about the most information Nikki can find on her. And the reason she is on Juma is because of the mating. So she's moved out of territory to mate. Because obviously Mvula will be one of the male leopards that holds territory that close to her natal territory. So apparently, sorry, next go again. I had to listen to the Game Drive channel. So apparently she's normally seen in the southern sections of Arathusa. So apparently she was seen mating with Mvula in late December 2014. She could have miscarried or lost a cub without anyone knowing in this short time period, and that is causing her to mate again. Mvula with a bit of scent marking. So female leopards will almost harass males after a few days to keep mating. She might try again now and right in front of us, hopefully, with leopard flirting. She's quite a pretty female. Apparently there's a few of you guys out there that are worried that the light is interfering. You can see this is very natural behavior. They behave like this during the day, so it's very unlikely that the light is actually interfering with them. As you can see, they're completely carrying on as they would normally. Thanks, next. from Erin Fowler. She says, Kwatile has mated with Mvula, Tingana, and what was the third male in the last 3 or 4 months?
I don't know, but it's unknown to me.
Lamula. So it possibly means is since she lost that last cub, she hasn't got pregnant from the mating. So she's continued mating, and you can see Mvula's rolling in the exact same patch of dung that Kwatile did a few minutes ago.
So romantic.
Copy. Ooh. He's caught something. Oh, he's a scrub hare. He just chased a scrub hare right in front of the vehicle. That was very close. He's right there. He just took off after that scrub hare. He looks quite hungry. He's been mating for a few days, that's probably why. Well, she is a very pretty little leopard, but good looking. So we've been in a really good spot quite a while, so we're going to let some of the other vehicles go in front of us for a while, but don't worry, we're not going anywhere, we're staying with them. You're still after that scrub here. How's it, Styx?
Great, how are you, man?
Very well, and yourself?
Good.
Yes, so nice. Pretty good female, eh?
Yeah.
I think, are they going back? I might loop around the other side of the dam. We're just going to give the other guys a chance up in front. What we're going to do is loop around to where they're going. That was incredible. Did you see how quickly Mvula turned his speed there? He saw something we couldn't and he just charged off. That scrub hare was definitely a bit quicker. Is that from you next? Cecilia on Twitter is much smarter than me, because I didn't even think about that. Said he was chasing the Easter Bunny. Oh. I see them. A leg's coming. Two Styx lionesses look like they're going to move into that position as well. They are just behind the dam wall crossing. So guys, just to give you an update, we've got two lionesses moving towards those leopards. The two Styx lionesses. They're directly in front of me now. I'll put the lights on. Oops. Don't want to blind poor Craig. But you'll see the spotlight ahead of me. The two lionesses are about to arrive. Next, do you copy that? Could you just update Scott? Okay, so just update them that the leopards are heading back towards the boundary, but the two Styx lionesses are now on the boundary. So we're just going to stand by here because the other guys are with the leopards.
Is this real life?
So this could get very interesting very shortly, guys. Too many radios in this car. FM. This was actually discussed at the Rangers meeting today, and it's stationary sighting takes preference, but both sightings are mobile. So I think I'll speak to Lex and see what he thinks. I'll come in with the lines. Copy, I will do. Go ahead. Copy. These two lines are coming west now on that road that goes around the back of Twin Dams. How big is big? Huge. Like big enough that we wouldn't make it out of that hole?
Don't know.
Okay, sorry. Big hole.
Straight.
Really big hole. When my cameraman starts going, big hole, big hole, big hole, I start listening.
That's probably good.
Yeah. I went off on this big path. I'm just going to loop around. Copy next. Okay. I might go for a drink. There we are. not sure what you mean by that. So guys, a lot of people are wondering what happens if the lion and the leopard have to meet. I think I heard the lions uttering quite low contact calls, and I think they probably heard the leopard flirting. But I'm probably sure the leopard would move away from them as fast as possible. Legs coming. So apparently Mvula is quite close to us here. I'm just going to find out. He could actually sneak into the bush and just watch the lions. So Mvula is probably 50 meters off directly in front of us. The lions are now moving off to our, or straight at us, almost. So you're going to see now, you're going to see the other vehicle in front of us. There, that is where Mvula is, and he's hiding in that bush, just watching the lions go past, I think. He's with Lex, apparently, at that bush. Oh, that's not Lex. That's what it was. Sorry. So that wasn't where the leopard was. Lex coming. Cheers, Vol. Lex, from the last position I had you, where are you now? Okay, copy that. Lions have come off that road and are heading almost due west now. FM, we got it. The lions have heard it as well.
So the leopards have moved through, come across the valley.
The lions are now jogging towards where those Impala alarm calls are coming from. Thanks, Craig. There's an old 2-track that I'm on at the moment. Copy, thanks. Next, these 2 lionesses are making a beeline for your position. It's always difficult following an animal through a thick block, and at night it becomes that much more difficult, even with all our extra lights. Go ahead, Gav. Depends how far we're in the block between Weaver's Nest and Twin. Let's is with Kwatile and Mvula, and we're following the 2 Styx lionesses. We're making the way towards that position. Alex, I've got your visual. Lex, I'm directly behind you. There's one lioness between you and I, and another lioness just slightly to the west. Yeah, I agree. I think I'm gonna move out, rather not interfere. So what happens, guys, is the leopards were spotted by some impala, and they started alarm calling. Let's turn our lights off. And they started alarm calling, and the lions started jogging towards that area. So the lions started jogging towards where the leopards are. And Lex, who's another vehicle, and I've just had the discussion, we don't want to adversely interfere. By crashing around, we might make it easier for the lions to sneak up on the leopards and surprise them because we're interfering with the hearing. So, affirm. So what we're going to do now is we'll switch off. I think we're probably going to move out of the area. We obviously don't want to interfere, and especially in a situation like that where due to human influence, an animal might be killed. It would be a slightly different situation if it wasn't so thick and we didn't crash through the bush so much. So, guys, Scott and VM have asked me to sign out for them. Obviously, we had quite a lot of action where we were, so we stayed with us. So, from us here at WildEarth, we're going to move out and head home. We will definitely come follow up on the tracks and try to figure out what happened in the morning. But obviously, as I said, we don't want to interfere. So it's been a really amazing, exciting afternoon. I mean, a lucky lion, actually 3 lucky lions, when we thought we weren't going to see any. And then also really nice to see a male and female leopard together and see a bit of that interaction while she was trying to get Mvula to mate with her. But from Romeo and myself and Scott, Vim and Nikki and FC, it's been great having you all with us. And we look forward to joining us all again in the morning to do it all over again. Good night.